Recording, I think. Okay, what's going on? It's Crispy. Uh, Welcome to Healer 101. I feel like it's not a bad idea just to get everybody fresh and updated, get you thinking about these things. And there might be quite a few people who don't know a lot of this stuff. Um, the goal of this video is just to kind of, like I said, get you thinking about this stuff, and educate people who don't, but just to go over really the basics, like the 101, the bare bones minimum things that you really need to know to be ready to take on any content you have or have not done before. I do plan on making a couple videos probably once AQ comes out. Once we get a couple raids in, I'll make a video breaking down what our strategies are, what your job is as a healer, and I will do the same for Blackwing Lair since we already have that down and done. There's definitely a lot of room to improve for all of our healers, not just a couple. Everybody can improve, including myself. And we're always getting better. So I look out for those videos. But yeah. The first thing, before you even get into the raid, there's a lot that you really need to do to prepare as a healer. Preparing as a healer, I mean, it might seem like a waste of time. Like, oh, I don't need to pump damage and all my abilities, they do so much damage or they heal so much already. Consumables, they're only good for tanks, they're only good for DPS, that we barely have any good consumes. Our gear, like, oh yeah, just get all the stuff that has healing power on it. But there's a lot to think about. I mean, even just for priests alone, there are so many different paths you can take for your gear just in this phase. And I'm not an expert on shaman gear or druid gear. I am pretty well acquainted with all of the healing gear that is in the game currently, but there's plenty of resources that you have to check your own BIS. I use an add-on. It's called Loon, Loon, Best in Slot, and it usually updates every phase, and it has everything. I mean, you can check other classes, but I'm a priest, I can go to Holy Priest, and it's going to give me all of my BIS for every slot. It's going to give me all my alternatives. I can go, if I say I'm fresh 60, I don't know what shoulders I'm going to want to go for. Shoulders, boom, here we go. I've got my BIS, or what it tells me is my BIS, which is my tier 2 shoulders. But this is also my BIS, which is the ZG set shoulders. It's hard if you don't know what your BIS really is. And there's not really one answer. Like for priests, there's full healing BIS, which is just targeting all of the super high healing power, the empowered leggings, the boots of pure thought, stuff like that, and just going for maximum heal power and getting just your 3-set bonus from tier 2. But you can also go 8 out of 8, or you can go, I'm pretty close to my BIS, which is only 5 out of 8 with Fire Mob Belt, And so still with my true faith vestments. There's plenty of resources to help you check. There's that add-on. You can also Wowhead is a very good resource to use. It can show you it sometimes it's a little confusing. Usually for future phases, like if you're looking for phase 5 and phase 6, it's only going to show you Sod and Psalm, season mastery stuff. So you're gonna have to do a little bit more digging, looking at old YouTube videos, looking at Reddit. But this is a good, it goes and shows you the same type of stuff, and it lets you make an educated and realistic lineup of gear that you want to run for the phase. Now, let's look at enchants. For healers right now, I mean, we're all really going to be running the same stuff. You get your ZG head enchant. I think for all healers besides shamans, that's going to be your best. Shamans, I think you just want the 8 spell power / healing power arcanum. Still, your shoulders, you get 33 healing power from ZG. For your cape, you want the +5 all resistances. For your chest, now you can go +4 stats if you have the extra gold. +3 stats is just as good. Or you can go 100 mana. 100 mana is really, really strong as well. 100 mana is really strong as well. I'd say it's stronger on shamans and druids than it is on priests, but it is still pretty strong. For bracers, we have the 24 healing power bracers enchant, which is very good. Everybody wants it. For gloves, we have nothing right now. Next phase, we do get a healing power enchant for gloves, which is going to be great. But minor mount speed is really, I mean, it is what it is. Your pants, same thing. ZG, or for shamans, I think you want Arcanum. Now for boots, you can go stamina if you really want. I think it's a waste. The minor speed increase, the movement speed that you get is very valuable for moving and repositioning on many different fights. The stamina you get from the stamina enchant is kind of a waste. And then obviously 55 healing power for your weapon. Get your enchants. I have like every single enchant in the game. I know Buon has a lot. We have enchanting mats for the guild. Take advantage of it. They might seem like they don't do much, but especially these healing enchants for your bracers, for your ZG rep, get that up. Your weapon, they're very, very strong. Now, buffs. I have no buffs. I haven't gotten my buffs since last raid, but I do have buffs up here. Rend, I mean, it's harder and harder to come by. For healers, it's very good. The 10 MP5 is really strong. Rally is insanely strong for us. 10% crit is insane. Crit is a very, very underrated stat for healers, especially for priests. Being able to proc inspiration more often is always better. Zanza, same thing. The movement speed allows you to reposition. We're very squishy. We need to be in the right spots or we will die. And the stats as well. I mean, getting a 15% increase to int for crit and more mana, and spirit for mana regen and more healing for holy priests is very strong. DMF, it's not that great for us. You can go int, it's really negligible. Holy priest, you probably want to go spirit. I usually go resistances just because it's the most value, but it is still pretty decent. You always want to get it when it's up. Dire Maul, stamina, 15% stamina keeps you alive. You can't heal if you're dead. This is, I mean, it doesn't do anything for us. The attack, and more crit. Crit is, like I said, it's very, very strong. When you crit, especially with downrank spells, you're getting so much value for your mana, and you're proccing inspiration as a priest, which is always important. And then Songflower is the same exact thing. It's a bunch more crit, and it also increases all your attributes by 15, which is always good. Consumables. Um, there's a lot of them. I mean, you'd really think there isn't, but there's quite a few for us that I use at least. To start, you have all of your resistance pots. They're super helpful on so many different fights. Fire resist pots for Rag, for Veil Straws, for Flame Gore. You have shadow resistance pots for Fire Maw, for Neff. And then coming up soon, you're definitely going to want to stockpile up on these greater nature res pots. They are going to save your life on so many different fights. You're going to be drinking 2 of them per fight sometimes. Buy them now. They will get super expensive, and you will regret not buying them. These aren't as important, but I still highly value them myself personally. I think they are very helpful. These are defensive pots that I use. I use the Mighty Troll's Blood. You don't need to use the ZG ones. They are like 10 gold, and they're 20 health per second. The 12 is enough with the health pools that we have. It's just passive health regen. It keeps you alive, and I also use the greater defense pots. You don't need the bigger ones. I think those are like 7 gold, maybe 6 gold. These are also just, I mean, they keep you alive. You can't heal when you're dead. And you always want lips. There's going to be times when a mob is not picked up and you are being targeted by a dragonkin in Blackwing Lair, and you're getting melee attacked, and if you pop a lip, you survive. If you don't, you get attacked for the second time, and you die before your tank can taunt it. Lips will save your life. They're not just for DPS, for dropping threat. They're for us to save our lives from melee attacking enemies as well. Mage Blood Potions, these are huge. These are super fucking strong. 12 MP5, I mean, from 1 potion. That's insane. If you think about it like this, 10 spirit is 1 MP5. That's 120 spirit in a pot. Flasks, now, they're expensive, but I'd say they are worth it, especially on harder content. Having 2,000 extra mana lets you heal for a lot longer, lets you rank down less, lets you spam your big healing spells more, and in AQ they're going to give us more of a cushion for some of the harder fights. We have these new Zanza pots. These you can only have 1 at a time, but they're very strong, 50 spirit and 50 stamina. It's mana regeneration and health. Those are both very good for us. For food, food buffs usually don't stack, or the base food buffs do not stack. This is going to be our best food buff. The Nightfin Soup gives you 8 MP5. It is very good. You can usually buy them off the auction house, or if you have cooking, you can cook them. For alcohol buff, these are from Dire Mall. You can buy them from the Troll and Dire Mall. After you get your tribute buffs from Buon, you just go talk to an ogre, and he'll sell these to you. 25 spirit, and you lose 5 int. You're getting way more mana regeneration than you're losing out on base mana. And just recently, we got the Midsummer event. These Toasted Smorks, 44 healing power. These do stack with base food buffs, so you can have both active at the same time. I would get these. You can only get 10 from, if I'm not mistaken, they last 14 days, but that's in-game played 14 days. And save them for AQ. I used one last week during Blackwing Lair, I think. But just save them for AQ. They're going to be very, very good for us. And some other consumes, I mean, The most important are going to be your major mana pots. I mean, I always have a bunch of them. I know Phil makes a bunch of them. If you need some, just ask Phil, ask myself. Demonic and Dark Runes. You can farm these. Um, there's plenty of different places you can farm them. And then the Dark Runes, you can get them out of Skolo or you can buy them. They share a separate cooldown for major mana pots. I almost always find myself using at least one per raid. There's just times when you're completely tapped out and you just need a little bit more mana to get over the hump. You can kill yourself with them, so you gotta be wary of that, but they are very good to fall back on. As far as add-ons go, there are a couple that I'd say are huge and very important. DBM, one of the most important ones. It's gonna give you all of your fucking boss cooldowns, mechanic timers. It's gonna tell you when debuffs are coming out, when big damage is coming out. Very important. Everybody has to have it to raid, I think. I mean, no one knows everything. Details, this is going to show you healing. It's going to give you breakdowns of your healing. There's healing meters, there's damage meters. It also gives you a threat meter, which I always use as well. I have a damage or a healing meter up usually, and then a threat meter up. Threat meter might seem kind of pointless for healers, but it's very good for fights like Broodlord, where there's threat drops, because Shadowland is usually tanking the boss, but you get to see who is in second place or who is in third place. That way, when he drops a boss, you know who to start pre-healing. It's very important as a healer to be able to track threat of the raid and to know when to start conserving mana when things you notice things might start going south because of threat and things like that. And then the most important one I don't use, I think it's Dispelbot, or I don't remember what it's called. The one everybody uses. I just use Cell. I mean, it literally does everything. It shows you all debuffs, it shows you all buffs, it shows you current party members, incoming healing, it shows you, and it syncs it with other healers if they have Cell. It shows you what hots are on them. It shows you power word shield timing, like health. It shows you current resources like health and mana and rage. It shows you who is currently highest on threat and who's currently being aggroed. I mean, it shows you everything, and you can heal and hover heal all from the raid frame. I mean, it takes up a bunch of your screen when you're actually in raid, but you're almost never even looking at your your actual character and all the other characters. You can use macros for hover healing. I don't. I use an add-on. I use the add-on called Click. Um, Omni CC is nice. It gives you numerical cooldowns on all of your spells, so that way you can see when they are coming off of cooldown. Um, yeah, I think for the most part, those are all of the important add-ons. Now that you're ready to raid, what in the fuck do you do? As a healer, obviously your goal and your objective and your role is to keep other people alive. You have your tank healers, which are your priests, usually on Horde. If you want to play a paladin, go ahead and wait until TBC, and we'll talk about it then. The shamans are usually your raid healers. They literally just press one button and they get a 99 parse because chain heal is fucking OP. And then you have your druids, who are the worst. I mean, are very helpful. Then you have your druids, which are mana batteries. Now, okay, you have your druids. They are very good with their hots, their heals over time. They put them on and then kind of just go AFK. No, I'm just kidding. Druids do a lot of different things. They have innervates. They have fairy fire, which green world You need to start casting Fairy Fire, please, and thank you. That is a very good ability. I mean, that's the basics, really. That's the bare bones. I mean, fuck, we all know all of this stuff already. But I mean, it's sometimes you don't think about it, you know. Like you just go into a raid and you say, okay, I'm a healer. I'm just gonna go heal people. But we really do all have our own roles. Sure, I might pretend I'm a shaman sometimes and snipe a million heals with flash heal to try and get a higher parse. But that's not my role. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be keeping Shadowland alive. I'm supposed to be keeping our main tank alive. And I'm supposed to let the shamans do their role and heal the raid. Everybody has their role. And it really just depends on what class you're playing and what you are delegated to do in a specific fight. And that is the most important thing, is playing your role. Fuck your parse. Play your role. Now, depending on what raid you're in, what fight you're doing, you're going to have your main target based off of your role. Usually for priests, it's tanks. For shamans, it's the raid. For druids, it's a set group of tanks or a set group of melee. But it depends on the fight. Some fights are big AoE fights, like Veilstraws. Veilstraws is a very big AoE fight, but there are fights where it is single target only. I might be the third tank healer priest. My target is to heal I almost said oxen. Nature Nugs. My target is Nature Nugs. I'm supposed to heal him. I'm supposed to keep him alive. Say we're on a fight like Ebon Rock, where Nature Nugs is third on the taunt rotation. He only ever taunts if Yoshi's taunt fails. He's not really taking any damage. There's no reason for me to be pumping him full of heals, even hovering him and paying attention to his health bar. Sure, it should be in my mind, but when there's one person taking damage, that's my main goal. Even as a shaman, like, I should be bouncing my chain heal off of that one person that's taking all the damage. And that's what understanding what kind of fights you're in. Is this an AoE fight? Is this a single target fight? Is this a tank swap fight? Is this a multiple mob tank situation? Is there 4 tanks all taking damage at the same time? Is the raid going to be taking heavy damage? Is the raid going to be taking minimal damage? These are all things you want to be considering when you're considering your targets for your healing. Now, one thing I want to talk about is pre-healing and like cast canceling. Sure, reacting to damage is one way to heal, and
I should be good.
I mean, you can react to the damage that is going out and assess which heal is going to be best by thinking ahead, knowing what damage is going to come out, and when healing is going to be needed and not when it is needed at the time.
You don't have to worry about it. You are
is very important.
Yeah, you just.
A lot of you guys probably already know this, but
I have mine too. Just let me know.
I guarantee you, there's people out there in our guild that do not know that. Now, if you look at this fight here, this is Ebon Rock, I believe. I am healing Storm Fury. I'm starting my casts of Flash Heal before he's even taken any damage, because he is currently under threat. If you see through Cell, Shadow now is highlighted red. Now Storm Fury is highlighted red, and I know that he is going to be taking damage. So instead of waiting for him to take damage, I precast my Flash Heal to heal him, so that in hopes that I time my GCD, or my global cooldown, right with him taking damage, so that the heal comes out as soon as he does take the damage.
Yeah.
You might say, oh, but then you're just gonna end up healing him for no reason, and you're gonna end up having wasted heals. But that's where cast canceling comes in.
Bro,
You
that's
can
nasty.
begin your cast,
Everybody get in position. Let's
and
go ahead and pull
right
boss.
before
I don't think I've
your
rolled over
cast
a 20
completes,
and I don't even
we'll
know.
show it here.
Datum.
See, I have Flash Heal going out. See there, I wait until the very last second, and I move.
Train.
You can move back and forth, you can move forward and back.
Was that yours?
I see that the
No,
healing
I
is
am
not
now.
needed,
I got it next
so
time.
I
Stay on
cancel
next.
the cast. It saves me the
I
mana,
messed up on my initial
but
curse.
it keeps me
Okay.
ready
Staying.
to have the heal coming out. With those two very important mechanics, cast canceling and pre-healing, that is a very small piece of what makes you a good healer. I mean, just being able to react to what is happening on your screen is a very important piece of the puzzle. But your knowledge of the fights and knowing where to stand is very big. There are so many. I mean, this game is so old and so easy, but there are so many fights where your positioning really matters.
Gotta
The
slow it
difference
down,
between a
gotta slow
good
it
and a
down.
bad fire moth fight is being in the right position to not take any stacks. Being able to stay in for the entire fight and continue to heal your DPS who have to get in line of sight of the boss and take stacks. Even this fight here is it's as simple just standing in the right spot, and it relies a little bit on the tank being in the right spot as well, but just knowing where to stand. Now positioning, I mean, it is good to be prepared and to know where you need to stand, but it's also good to be able to understand what to do on the fly. Not being told what to do, being able to make the decision yourself. Now, this is just trash, but this trash is very deadly. We've lost plenty of buffs. We lost a bunch of buffs this
Big
week.
Shadow, Big Shadow.
On this fight here,
Down.
Shadow picks up 2
Yosh,
mobs
Yosh.
and gets killed immediately, so 2 get loose in the raid. Now,
Yeah,
they're
drink a
loose in the
fat.
raid, and we have a lot of healers just standing still, including myself, within cleave range. And look, Dot gets killed, I get stunned in place, I almost die, Boom gets killed,
Coming back, targeting.
but I make sure to move myself out of range. I mean, I know it seems self-explanatory, but being able to position yourself in the right spots to
Yes,
not
our
get
body.
hit
Thank you,
when
Lord.
things go
Pick up.
bad, to not get
Incoming
cleaved,
diamond. So
I
pick that
mean,
up quick.
and especially
Big
in
heals. Big
AQ,
heals to our body.
there's going to be plenty of trash and
Good job.
bosses
Move-
where
move across.
if you're in the wrong spot, you're just going to die. So your positioning as a healer is more important than probably any other role. You gotta look at your screen. I know it's so hard not to just look at the raid frames and to pay attention to the health that's updating all the time. But you have to move around. Like, look at me. I'm almost always moving. I'm hardly ever standing still. And I'm not even anywhere near the boss. Or the ad. Or whatever the trash. I'm not anywhere near it. But it's
Good job,
just
guys.
a
Good job.
habit. Just constantly
bodies
moving.
suck, thanks.
You have feet. I've seen so many people on so many different trash and bosses just standing still and just letting themselves die. Standing in rains of fires, standing in techie bombs. Just so many different things. Just move. It is super simple in theory, but in practice, it is hard. But you gotta be a gamer, man. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is our utility. As healers, we do more than just heal. We have different roles in different fights. For priests, we have dispel magic, like for Baron Geddon, where we have to dispel the ignite mana. We have power infusion for disc for increasing our caster damaging output. We have abolish disease for Chromagus. Shamans, they have poison cleanse totems and tremor totems for fears. Druids, they have fairy fire, a defense debuff, which is important to keep uptime on Green World. They have Innervate for me, hopefully, and Hygeia too, I guess. There's so many different utility spells that we all have to use and use efficiently and effectively. Being well acclimated, acquainted, whatever the correct word is, with your utility spells and not just being heal bot is what will turn you from being an average healer to a good and effective healer. I just want to say this is fucking super basic stuff, guys. Like, if you don't know everything I said in this video, that's okay. Knowing this stuff lets you have a good foundation for moving into new content and into content you've never done, or into content you've already done. Like I said, I plan on making a fight breakdown for Blackwing Lair for healers, and then a fight breakdown for EQ once EQ is out for a little while. I just want to say you guys are all doing a great job. Really, very impressed with all of our healers, all of our new healers that are coming in. I'm very impressed with you guys as well, being able to hop in with us. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys for raid. See you later, guys.